Assalamu alaikum. The Quranic law of inheritance has been mentioned in Surah Nisa, the fourth surah of the Quran, in verses 11 and 12. There is a verse of clarification mentioned towards the end of the surah in the last verse in verse number 176. In verse 11, the Almighty has mentioned the principle behind the entire law that the Almighty has designed for the purpose of believers to follow in matters of inheritance. And the principle is that the Almighty has given shares to different relatives, keeping in view their contribution towards the welfare of the deceased. So, there is a certain material benefit which is conferred upon an individual by the relatives of the deceased. The Almighty has taken into account that contribution. And obviously, if we look at various different cases, in each case the contribution is going to be different. But he has come up with a general average understanding of how much each relative contributes towards the material benefit, the welfare of the individual. Uh, the other possibility could have been that he could have left everything at the discretion of the society and the individuals to decide, which he has actually done uh, in uh, in his law. But he has also provided with uh, the details just in case, if the individual whose property wealth is to be distributed does not himself clarify uh, in what manner inheritance is to be divided amongst his relatives. So, generally speaking, what happens is that daughters, they get married and they move to the residence of the husband and live with their in-laws, while parents, they, generally speaking, they stay with their sons. Now obviously there could be exceptions, but that's what the normal pattern has been over centuries of uh, human civilization, the way people have been living. Now, the question obviously that comes to one's mind is that if that pattern, which is the underlying assumption within the Almighty's law of inheritance, if that pattern is changed, is broken, then why should the law be followed? Well, the answer is that there is uh, an arrangement within the law that enables the individual, the person whose wealth is to be distributed, to play an active role through leaving a will in favor of the relatives which he or she thinks um, is going to be deprived if a will is not going to be written. So, for instance, if a person thinks that he has a son and a daughter, and his daughter's contribution to him has been as good as his son's contribution in his welfare, then what he can do is that he can write a will in which he can say that a certain amount of his wealth is going to go towards his daughter, before the law of inheritance gets applied, implemented. And the amount that he would propose for his daughter would then make sure that what both son and daughter get is the same. Uh, that can be done. He will give an explanation that I've experienced in my life that my daughter has also been equally contributing towards my welfare. But what he cannot do is that he should leave a will that my son and my daughter should get equal share, because that is what the Almighty has already mentioned, that the son is going to get twice as much as his daughter. So, in order for the daughter's share to be as much as the son's share, or round about the same, he can leave a will for a certain value amount to be given to the daughter first, and then let the law of inheritance get implemented. So that way the person can balance things off in a way that the law of inheritance is also respected as it deserves to be. And he can also give his daughter what he thinks is her due share. And this is going to be done exactly in accordance with what the law of inheritance itself is allowing the person to do.